Joe Biden cannot lead our country because he doesn't really believe in our country. Right now, I don't think he believes in anything. He just wants to go to sleep. That's all. Please, darling, I want to go to bed. I'm exhausted. I made one speech yesterday. But, darling, they gave you the answers and the questions. I know, but that was a big strain because my eyes, I couldn't see the teleprompter. This guy is the worst.
I see generation growing up here in their hearts about what the future holds. On behalf of everyone, disabled and non-disabled all around the world, I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the destruction of this magnificent planet. This conference is one of the most important meetings in history.
Trump is like a fortune teller. The stuff that he said is like come true, whether it was about statues and pulling down Jefferson statues, calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe Biden, and then saying in a speech that Biden just wants to go to sleep. Sure enough, Biden just wants to go to sleep. Just let the man sleep. Why are you torturing this man? Deep State, Jill Biden, Susan Rice, Barack Obama. Let this guy just go to sleep, man. So anyway, the Biden going to the COP26 conference and falling asleep. That is the video that we will discuss today. And we've got that video. Let's begin with one tweet here, which says, Biden sleeping during the COP26 speeches. Fact checkers will say it's false. I'm positive the fact checkers will say Biden was not sleeping. He was digesting the information, closing his eyes, concentrating to digest the information. So we will call this Pinocchio. It is not true. Biden was not sleeping, but he was sleeping. Boy, was he sleeping. He was nodding off. And he was nodding off during perhaps the most important lines of the speech. Like the guy was saying, the guy that was speaking was like saying, this is the most important event in human history. And Biden is just, he's nodding off. So let's play the video and then we'll talk a little bit about it. And that'll be the video for today. This is a tweet from Jenna Ellis, by the way, which says, Trump was right to call him Sleepy Joe. And then this was a retweet, actually, and it's Kayleigh McEnany who says, an unfortunate metaphor for the Biden presidency. Yeah, unfortunate, that's for sure.
I really need to go through, I need to survive. I see generation growing up here in their hearts about what the future holds. On behalf of everyone, disabled and non-disabled all around the world, I call on you to commit to concrete actions to stop the destruction of this magnificent planet. This conference is one of the most important meetings in history.
This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. And Joe Biden's asleep. This conference is one of the most important meetings in history. Biden's asleep. I think the medicine is wearing off that they gave him to get through this trip.
You have a chance to make decisions and reach agreements which will affect lives for generations to come. You are in a position of extraordinary power. You can change forever the trajectory we are on. You can make a world that is once again full of hope, not fear. This is my message from Earth to come. On behalf of we, the 15, I ask you.
Oh, better send someone to wake him up. Better send someone to wake him up and make it look like he's giving Biden some information. This was a trick that they played to wake him up. They saw that he was asleep, and they said, okay, send this guy in there, send this White House aide in there to make it look like he's got some important information for the president to wake him up.
Please help us to guarantee a safer future for every life, regardless of their ability.
This is the best part. This is the best part right here, I think. Did you catch that? Biden was like, oh my God, I just woke up. He's like, oh my God. Help me get through this. And they announced that Mario Draghi, the puppet prime minister of Italy, is going to speak. But Biden was just like, he finished his nap and he was like, oh boy. I want to go to sleep, he's saying. Got a cup of coffee right there. Maybe he needs a refill. So that was Sleepy Joe. being Sleepy Joe. Trump was right. All he wants to do is go to sleep. The guy just wants to sleep, period. He's tired. So the medicine is wearing off, no doubt about it. They pumped him up full of medicine, and I guess the doctors thought that they could get him through this Vatican, G20, COP26 meeting and itinerary and get him back home to Delaware, to the basement. But looks like the medicine is not strong enough. They're going to have to do something, maybe up the doses. I don't know. But look, this isn't that bad. If the Biden administration, the White House, does some clever PR moves, this is what they could do. This is what they should do. This could actually make Biden look good. But they're going to have to throw the globalists and the other political shills under the bus to do this, and the other environmental worshippers, the climate worshippers. They're going to have to throw them under the bus if they want to make this sleeping event into a positive. This is what they should do. If I was the White House, I would do this. You could actually do two things. Number one, what I would do is I would get one of your puppet journalists when Biden lands in D.C., when he lands at the White House, and he's getting off the helicopter or whatever, and he's walking to the White House. Get one of your puppet journalists to ask him this question. Mr. President, did you fall asleep during the COP26 speech? For which Biden should say something along the lines of, well, I did kind of doze off, but you would too if you had to sit through those speeches. Boom. That would be funny. That would actually make Biden human. That would make him relatable. Because 99% of all the people in the world would say, yeah, I would probably doze off and fall asleep during those type of speeches as well. So that would be a good PR move. Do that. Do that, and you would actually make Biden, in the 50 years that he's been in office, actually make him look relatable and human. I'll put money that if Trump, which he never would because Trump had a ton of energy, but if Trump were to doze off during one of these speeches, the media would jump on it and they'd go crazy. And they would ask him, but they would ask him in order to bury him. They would say, President Trump, did you fall asleep during the COP26 meeting? And Trump would say, yeah, it was some pretty boring speeches. He would say something like that. And people would just laugh and they would be like, that's my guy. So you know what? Get the Biden puppet reporters to ask him those questions and get Biden to say that line. Now, the other approach you could take if you're the Biden White House PR team, which is the worst PR team in all of history, but anyway, that's a different topic, is you could, if you don't want Biden to say it, you could pay someone like Rachel Maddow, get one of your CNN, MSNBC shills, puppets, to invite a journalist, an environmental journalist or something like that, or I don't know, maybe an international affairs journalist onto their show, and Rachel Maddow could ask that journalist, what do you make of Biden sleeping during one of the COP26 speeches? And that journalist could say, well, he may have dozed off, but to be quite honest, Rachel, it was a long trip and those speeches are quite heavy and quite boring and can be quite intense to take in. And sometimes you just want to close your eyes and rest a little bit. And then both of them kind of laugh and say, Joe Biden, good old Scranton Joe. And they could do something like that. That would be another way to turn this embarrassment into some sort of positive. They could do that. That's the way you would do this, but you would have to kind of throw the whole environmental climate religion under the bus. You would have to kind of make fun of the globalists and make fun of the other world leaders like Macron and Draghi and all these guys. Biden could say something like, you would too if you had to go to this event. Man, was it a snoozer. It was boring. That speech was pretty boring. If Biden said something like that, that would be relatable, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do anything like that. What they're going to do is they're just not going to report on this story. CNN, MSNBC, they're not going to report on it, and they'll just let it kind of, drift into the memory hole. That's how they're going to approach it. Or, of course, they may get the fact checkers in there to say, as I said in the beginning of the segment, this wasn't true. Biden was digesting the information. He was closing his eyes in concentration. But, if they wanted to turn a negative into a positive, I think that would be a good technique. Anyway, that was Biden. That was Sleepy Joe living up to his name, Sleepy Joe. Once again, Trump, Nostradamus, Trump-stadamus. Nosta Trump. Once again, predicting something, and sure enough, his prediction has come through. TheDuran.locals.com, Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, and Super U. You'll find our videos there. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up a t-shirt. Free Assange. USA Magic Mug. Right there. Pick up some merch at the Duran shop. 10% off when you use the code REALNEWS. Take care.